Assalamu alaikum, my dear colleagues and my dear students. Thank you for joining us again at HR Consultants official page. I hope all of you are practicing the social distancing and staying safe at home. We, the team of HR Consultants, are making sure that the youth of Pakistan gets every information and gets answer to their foreign education related questions at their own convenience through this platform. Team HR has organized a series of question answer sessions with leading universities across the globe. The guys who joined me yesterday at the same time already knew that I, Mehtab Bukhari, represent University of Bradford in Pakistan. And I conducted the live question answer sessions and admission session with Nausheen, who is the regional manager at University of Bradford. How are you, Nausheen? I hope that you are doing well. Yeah, and taking every precautionary measure at your end too?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just very strict here. So just staying at home, only going out when it's necessary, just for groceries. How are you?
I'm also fine. Thank you so much. Let me sum up the yesterday's session. Last night, Nausheen explained us the life at University of Bradford as an international student, briefly introduced us about its department and the main admission requirement, the university's tuition fee structure, and most importantly, the Pakistan-specific scholarships, right? However, today we will be taking questions from students and addressing them. And lately, we will be discussing the most important thing, that is the UKVI Tier 4 student visa formalities. So stay tuned with us. Yes, Nausheen, over to you.
Thank you so much for the introduction. So yeah, as Ms. Mehtab mentioned, yesterday we sort of covered scholarships, entry requirements. We talked a little bit about the city and the university in itself. However, today we will go into further detail about the city, the accommodation available for students, rankings, and hopefully we can guide you all in regards to the visa process. So what I'd like to do firstly is start off with sharing an insight on what the University of Bradford accommodation looks like. Now we do have a variety, we have a variety of different accommodations. So we have on-campus accommodation, and then also this private accommodation available as well. So today you will see the on-campus accommodation, and I will share that with you now, so you can see that. So I'll talk you through the accommodation. So at the moment, you can see a view of what the accommodation building looks like. So we have two types of accommodation. One is a townhouse and one is an apartment style accommodation. So you probably wonder, what is the difference? Now the apartment is the accommodation that you will see today, and is an ensuite room. Okay, so with ensuite, that means you'll have your own shower and own bathroom and your bedroom as well. Okay, so the kitchen space is shared between 8 people. So now we're going to go into the left and you will see the kitchen. This kitchen is for 8 people, which is a reasonable size for students to share. Now, students always feed back to me that it's a really great space for them because they can cook and they can also hang out with their friends here as well. So if they want to invite anyone over for lunch, dinner, during their lectures and their breaks, this is a great place for them to hang out as well. So there's enough space, enough fridge and freezer space for their food and cupboard space as well. So this kind of gives an overview of what the kitchen looks like. And now what we'll be doing is going into the bedroom. So this is one of the bedroom, and it is an apartment room. So you've got a nice sort of a big size single bed. I would say like a 3/4 size bed in the room. This is one of our students who is an international student. This is one of his room. As you can see, he's got enough working space. Students have enough space to sort of for working and studying. And then there's in here, as you can see, is the shower. And it gives you a clear idea of what your accommodation will look like. in terms of the accommodation as well, so this is on campus, literally a 2-minute walk to your lecture room. So it's great for students if they want to live nearby, and if they want to feel like they want to stay on campus. If they're first year undergraduate students, we tend to find they will stay on campus. And then in second and third year, they tend to make friends and go for private accommodation. And again, if you want to know the pricing and how it all works, get in touch with HR consultant. They are official representative, and they will inform you in regards to the pricing and the variety of the accommodation available to you. And one thing I would like to highlight, I do get parents asking me, can we have female only for our daughter or for our son? Absolutely. So when you submit your application for your apartment, you can specify that you just want female only. So that's a really good option for our students out in Pakistan. So now moving on from the accommodation, we'll talk about the city. A lot of people must have heard about Bradford because there's a lot of personnel, there's a lot of connections to Pakistan and Bradford, but I would say it's not a huge city, and despite it not being a huge city, it is the top 10 in the UK in terms of the size of it. So you've got a population of 500,000 in and around Bradford. So despite it having 500,000 people in the population, it's still a very friendly, homely place. So again, students who do study at Bradford, they always tend to say to me, oh no, Sheen, it's really nice that I can actually have a lot of opportunities for part-time jobs. There's a lot happening in the city, and also people are very friendly and they want to know what's happening. They want to support you throughout your journey at the university.
So the life at Bradford is beautiful indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a good balance, I think, for students because, again, you have that connection to Pakistan. So the current Prime Minister of Pakistan, he used to be our Chancellor. So Imran Khan used to be the Chancellor at the University of Bradford for a very long time. Yeah, absolutely. So
it is an honor for all of us. Yes.
Absolutely, yeah. So some of my friends, they studied at Bradford, and when they graduated, they got their degree off Imran Khan. So it was such a lovely feeling for them to be able to shake his hand and for Imran Khan to congratulate them and say, well done for studying at this university. But not only did he, not only was he the Chancellor at the University of Bradford for over 5 years, we also supported Pakistan, and we've supported Imran Khan in opening a university out in Pakistan called Namal College. So the degrees that the students got from the Namal College in Pakistan was actually accredited by the University of Bradford. So there's a lot of huge connections out there, and we are very proud to have our students from Pakistan out here in the UK as well.
Right. Thank you, Nausheen. Thanks for introducing us with the Bradford city and showing us the actual university accommodation with more facilities. Right. I have started receiving few questions. I would like to ask first that, well, with this COVID-19 situation, will it affect the student admission requirement at university?
The current situation, I would say to students, it will not be affected for September 2020 intake. Students should proceed and go across how they are. They should continue to make an application, and also students who don't get their final grades in time, they should just submit the current transcripts that they have, and then we would base their offer on what information they currently have as well. Yeah,
right.
Sorry, my computer.
So I think Awais Aslam has questioned this thing about the admission and visa process for September intake. So I think that he has got his answer. Right. So it means that university is making sure that international students are securing their admission during this time period as well. And without wasting their time, they will be able to apply for their visas as soon as possible. This global crisis comes to an end. Right.
So students can apply for their visa 3 months prior to the enrollment date. So what I would say is, if students have all their documents, if they have an unconditional offer, they need to pay a deposit. And what we'll do is we'll sort of talk through the processing of that. But the main thing is students to get their unconditional offer from the university, and HR consultants will guide you and support you because they have been doing this for many years and have been doing this many years for Bradford. So submit your documents to them and they will guide you and support you in getting your offer. But you have to put the effort in yourself. You need to be able to write your personal statement, send your documents in on time, and then you will get your offer as soon as possible. Once you have your offer, that's when you can start thinking about moving to the UK. You will pay your deposit. Now, again, our deposit is a very reasonable amount, so we only ask for £2,000. So your deposit is £2,000 from the fees that you're paying, and this will allow you to get a CAS, which it gives a notification to the UK government that the University of Bradford is sponsoring the student to study in the UK and study at Bradford. So what will happen at this point? Yeah, so at this point, once the student has their offer, they've paid their deposit, they've also submitted their bank statement to show that they can they've maintained the amount in their account and they do have the funds available to study in the UK. Once they've shown all that, our department at the university, we have a dedicated team who will support you as well. So they will go through a credibility interview. The HR team will also support you as well. They'll give you some information on what you should potentially say in this credibility interview, but you have to do a very personable research. So again, my experience is when I speak to students and they say, can you support us with our visa interview when we do a test run? They're very much like parrots. They won't sort of, they'll read opposed to sort of doing a research thoroughly and passionately. So you need to be able to do research that really explains why you want to study in the UK and why Bradford, because anyone can say that, you know, Bradford is ranked this much, it's a good city. So we really want to know what you want to gain from studying at the university and what your future plans are by coming back to Pakistan. So then the University of Bradford will do a mock interview, I guess, with you. So it's called a credibility interview. It'll prepare you for your actual interview which you'll have with the UK government.
Yeah, so, right, Nashin. Before we move on to the visa requirements, because we will be discussing this thing in detail. Before that, please mention the specific entry requirement for pharmacy, because since yesterday I've been receiving this question that what are the formalities to apply admission at University of Bradford for pharmacy programs, because this is one of the most favorite programs among the Pakistani students.
Yeah, so pharmacy is a fantastic course at the University of Bradford. We were the first university in the UK to start the team-based learning. Now, students will ask, what is team-based learning? Team-based learning is a method where we teach our students not only in a lecture theatre room, but in a group basis. And you'll probably again ask why is this beneficial? But actually having a smaller group of people in a room, you have more attention from the academic and you have regular multiple choice exams. So this will test your memory and support you throughout your time at the university studying pharmacy. So our entry requirements, we would need you to have a chemistry background. Chemistry, biology, students do need that as a background, and they would need a CGPA of 3 to get into pharmacy, just because it's a very competitive course, and we do ask for a slightly higher entry requirement. But again, submit your application, and then we will look at it on an individual basis. And we will also interview students over Skype who do apply for pharmacy as well.
Right. Do you conduct any question like interview session for the admission specifically in pharmacy?
Yeah, absolutely.
At the stage of admissions.
So for admissions, we do ask students. So if they do get an offer, a conditional offer from us, we will conduct an interview, and this will be done by our academics in the pharmacy department. And they will, once you have your conditional offer, they'll ask you maybe about 3 questions. So they'll ask you about team-based learning. They'll ask you, why do you want to study pharmacy? and what your sort of future goals are. So these are the things that you need to research. And again, HR consultants have supported many students from Pakistan to study pharmacy at Bradford, so they can guide you and support you with that application process and the interview.
Perfect. Right. So how do you describe the term PSW for international students and how it is beneficial for students specifically from Pakistan?
Yeah, so as many people have been talking about in the recent months, PSW, so post-study work visa. Initially, the UK government stopped offering the post-study work visa, I believe in 2011 or 2013. And what we have now reintroduced is any student enrolling on a course in the UK, so for 1 year or more, they will be offered a post-study work visa. So imagine you're studying a 1-year master's in management, LLM, in another top course of ours, or engineering. What we would offer is the student will have 1 year and then they'll have 2 additional years to stay in the UK to get some experience and work. And as I mentioned yesterday, we have a dedicated careers department, and they will support you with making your CV, guiding you which are the best locations to look for jobs.
Perfect. So these are the special arrangements at the University of Bradford that they guide all international students to make good CV, to apply for even like for part-time jobs and for their placements as well. So
absolutely.
Wonderful.
And yeah, and they also are preparing with like interviews as well. So they will do like a mock interview with the student, because I guess interviews can be very different in each country. So the careers department will support the students on their interview skills.
Perfect. Now comes towards the next step of the Tier 4 student visa requirements. As after our students receive admissions, Team HR Pakistan assists all of our students to meet visa formalities and prepare them completely. Nausheen, what are the specific visa requirements what University of Bradford is looking for?
Absolutely. So like I highlighted just previously, I will sort of go through the whole process again. So initially you would need an unconditional offer. That's the first thing that we require a student to have. After that, we would need to see a student's bank statement. So on the bank statement, you need to show that you have available funds for your living allowance and for your tuition fees, and that money needs to be in your bank account for at least 28 days minimum consecutively. Okay.
Perfect.
In addition to that, yeah.
Please carry on.
Yeah, so we need to see the bank statement, and that needs to be there at least for 28 days. In addition to that, we also require evidence of your TB as well, that you've tested for it. Once you've got those 2 requirements, those 2 key requirements, and you have an unconditional offer, and you've paid your deposit as well, so you need to pay a £2,000 deposit. So your fees might be £11,000 after your scholarship, but your deposit is only £2,000. Okay. So you
That's
pay
great. Wonderful.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're trying to support our students as much as possible so they can break down the fees when they do study at Bradford. So they pay the deposit, and then our visa department, you'll get a dedicated member of staff within our visa support team to guide you through the process of your application. They will have a credibility interview with you, a mock credibility interview, and they will ask you the questions that the UK government, the Home Office, will ask you when you apply for your visa. So once you apply for your CAS, you'll have your credibility interview, and then you'll also have an interview with the UK government. They can ask you any questions, and usually they ask up to about 10 questions, and we really do advise students to prepare fully for this.
Right. So if I sum up all of these requirements, we will like student will be paying the initial deposit, that is £2,000 initially only.
Yes.
Right. That is very economical, because students are just paying in advance £2,000, and then they will be applying for visa. Remaining tuition cost and the living cost must be shown in the student bank account. That is the second requirement, that they need to prepare for minimum 28 days in their personal account or in their parents' account. Third, they need to appear in the credibility interview. University will conduct their credibility interview so that university may get to know that students are fully prepared to face the visa officer actually.
Absolutely,
right? And last but not least is the TB test requirement, which we'll be conducting in Pakistan. So when the student gets it ready, they will HR consultant will guide them to prepare all these documents, and then they will be applying for visa.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah.
And in the whole process, credibility interview is the integral part.
Absolutely, yeah. Again, this is a really important part for students to be able to study. If their academic skills and they get the unconditional offer, that's absolutely fine. The main thing is that they can prove to the UK Home Office that the students are going to the UK to study, and they have a real interest for this. So students need to be able to give a story and explain why they want to study in the UK on an individual basis. So they can't just read about rankings, they cannot just read about the city and what they find online. They really need to deeply connect Bradford to themselves to be able to pass the interview. And that's with any university in the UK. You have to really understand the city and the university and why you're going to study that course and how it'll support you when you come back to Pakistan.
Right. And I would like to just mention here that HR team is always ready, always one step ahead to prepare our students professionally to face the interviews. That's why we prepare them by conducting their mock interviews. That is the reason that we, alhamdulillah, have the highest visa success ratio in Pakistan by the grace of Almighty. Yeah,
that's fantastic. And yes, a lot of all this, we're very grateful that we have HR consultants that support us through the times that Bradford are recruiting out in Pakistan. And what we can say is the students are very they're sort of very prepared when we do the interview. They already know the answers to the questions, so I think this is really important that you take the advice, because on an individual basis it can be very difficult to pass your credibility interview.
Right. One student has asked that is banking and finance course available at University of Bradford? Tayyiba Musharraf, she's asking this question.
Yeah, thank you for your question, Deva. We don't actually have banking and finance. However, we do have accounting and finance. It's a very similar course. If you look at the modules online, and sorry, if you speak to HR, they'll sort of guide you through what the course is about. We can then accept you as well if you have a 2.5 CGPA. That's something that we can offer the student. Perfect. Based on that entry requirement. Yeah.
Waqar Ahmed is with us, and he's asking about the master's program tuition fee structure.
Yeah.
He hasn't mentioned any specific program, but you can just mention the postgraduate average fee criteria.
Yeah. So in terms at the University of Bradford, we have two different types of fees. We have classroom-based fees, and we also have lab-based fees. So if you're looking at courses like LLM, law, business, and management, the course fees will be around £16,000. However, as we mentioned yesterday, we do offer £4,000 scholarship, so that will reduce your tuition fees. And again, for lab-based course, it's around £18,000, but again, we will offer a £4,000 scholarship to the students, which reduces the fee. And we have 5 fully funded available scholarships as well.
That's perfect. That's great. Next is Awais. He did MBA in 2010, and since then he has been working in a leading company. He wants to take admission in Masters of Accounting and Finance. His CGPA was 3.12, and he's asking about any scholarship availability and what will be the remaining fee payable to him for MSc Accounting and Finance.
Yeah. Thank you for your question. We do have quite a few students asking how will they be able to study the particular course without having such a long gap. What we would say to students is obviously submit your application get all your evidence together, and explain what you've been doing in the past sort of 6, 7, 8 years. So have you been working?
Because the
Have
CV
you...
and their experience. Yeah.
Absolutely, Mehtab. Yeah. So we just need to see the students' experience, and your CGPA is perfect. We can accept that. So as long as you can shows evidence that you've been working this past years, we will look to potentially give you an offer for that course. So I would recommend at this point, send your documents and then we'll review what you currently have.
Right. Sardar A. Khan is with us, and he's asking that, is there any scholarship? I think today we haven't disclosed the scholarship amount. That's why students are asking this question. Yesterday we discussed in our live session. What are the scholarships for master's and PhD level programs?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're at the University of Bradford. We're very fortunate that we want to connect with our students in Pakistan. So we want to give something back to the students out there. We do offer a scholarship of up to £4,000, and our scholarship, again, is for both undergraduate and postgraduate courses available. We also offer fully funded scholarships as well, but the key one for students is the £4,000 scholarship, because the fully funded one is very limited, and it's only for people from the north of Pakistan, whereas this £4,000 scholarship is fantastic. If you meet your requirements of your CGPA, we will offer you that scholarship.
Perfect. Thank you, Nausheen. Shahroz Khan is asking that nearest intake for on-campus face-to-face studies in 2020.
Yeah, so again, a really good question, because I guess a lot of students are worried on what's happening with the intake. For the moment, we are still accepting applications and we are still making offers for September 2020 intake. And I think students need to be consistent and not leave it too late, because the ban for travel could be lifted anytime soon. So it could be lifted 2 weeks prior to the intake starting. So start submitting applications and preparing for the September intake. And then what I would say is, obviously it's a global pandemic, so I can't really give an answer if it's going to all be okay by September. So I would say watch the news, read on what's happening, and then hopefully you should get your answer. And we will, if you have submitted an application, we will respond back to you and keep you updated on what's happening.
Perfect. And I would like to add that Nausheen has yesterday announced that the University of Bradford is quite lenient on the IELTS requirement, and side by side, university may take their English test as well, ELT, English language test. So students should not get worried about the IELTS test date. If it is not available through British Council, University of Bradford may take their own English test, or University of Bradford may look into other options to give him some waiver or to some leniency in the IELTS requirement if student has got some bands already.
Absolutely,
right?
Yeah. That's absolutely correct. So we have our own English language test that we can conduct out in Pakistan. So hopefully once the travel ban has lifted, we will be there and we will be supporting all the students who have a conditional offer. So if you leave it too late and you don't have a conditional offer when we issue the dates for the test, you won't be able to sit it. So get a conditional offer as soon as possible, and then we can hopefully get you on the test once we can travel out to Pakistan.
That's great. Nausheen, I would like to ask next question is from Hussein Zaga. He's asking that, do you accept transfer students? I think he's asking for the undergraduate students.
Yeah, so absolutely, we do accept transfer students. However, as you can imagine, with it being undergraduate, we would need to ensure that we look at your transcript and the modules that you have studied. So every course in the UK is not the same. So a management course at Bradford might not be the same as a management course in Pakistan or even at another UK university. So we would have to ensure that we look at the student's transcript, ensure they meet the entry requirement, and if we consider that the student has enough knowledge that our first year students have, or our second year students, then we will definitely accept the student. So I would say again, have your documents, send your transcripts, and we could consider you for second or third year undergraduate degree. So if you've done if you've done 3 years in Pakistan and you want to look to study in a second year undergraduate course in the UK, send your documents and we can look to support you in that.
Right. I think there is one more question that will there be another intake after the September? That's a good question because most of the universities, they do offer only one intake in a year. But I would like to ask you this question, that after September, what will be the next possible intake?
Yeah, so thank you again for asking that question. So the University of Bradford actually has 2 intakes throughout the year. So we have our main intake, which is September, and then we have another intake for our postgraduate courses, and that is in January.
Perfect.
Yeah,
that's great. Because if the students they are worried about the September intake, the next possible intake is just after the 3 months. So get it ready. You may apply right now for September 2020, but in any case, if you miss this intake, you may contact us for the next possible, that is January 2021.
absolutely,
right?
yeah.
Just
do we
ask you one more question? Yeah, there are lots of questions. Next student is asking that what are the possibilities of getting PR after PSW? Would you like to highlight something on it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess for us as a university, that's not sort of our aim to for students. That is probably something that they would do on an individual basis. Obviously, students would need to be in the UK for 5 years, and our main aim is for students to come to the UK for the education purposes. But if the 2 years that they do stay in the UK, and if they do really well in a particular job and they find it interest, and if a company is willing to sponsor them, then that's something that they can look into. But as a university, that's not something that we would offer. It would be a company that sponsors the individual.
Right. There is one student with us. Name is Aish. She's saying that, is it moreover of online classes or proper university classes for September intake? As many students right now in UK taking online classes, if I go for September intake, how soon we'll be able to know that we only go to university for class to attend, as I have offered for September intake? It means that that candidate has already secured his admission for September intake. So how you would guide?
Yeah, that's a really good question to ask. In all honesty, so at the moment, everything is set for September 2020 intake. So we are preparing and planning for face-to-face teaching for September intake. The current students are have been given the option to be taught online. That's because currently, no one's allowed to travel, and it's probably not safe to be around lots of people. But if things calm down, then yes, absolutely, we'll still be having teaching face-to-face in September. That's all I can say for the moment. I guess it won't just be you, whoever asked that question, it won't be just them as an individual affected. It will be the world. It'll be every student in the UK. So if the university decides to delay the intake to October or November, that might be an option, or they may consider teaching the first semester online. But again, I can't imagine them doing that, because the main reason students are coming to the UK is for that experience of being in the UK. So I think potentially there might be a delay, but there's no, we haven't been told. So I would say keep in your mind that you will be studying in September this year.
Right. Exactly. So all the students who are asking questions and who are eager to take admissions, please note down that please contact us through WhatsApp. Please share your documents at my official WhatsApp number, that is 0346 4747 023. You may share your documents through WhatsApp, or you may contact us at our official numbers. Please join us on Facebook page as well. You may send your queries over there as well.
Perfect.
Right. Thank you, Nausheen. You have explained well and answered major questions which might have in the mind of our students about admissions and Tier 4 visa requirements for UK.
Yeah, thank you for your time, Mehtab. It's been great, speaking to your students and having this time and platform, and connecting with all the students and discussing what's happening during these difficult times. So, again, last advice I would give students is get your documents together, whatever you have. If you're unsure, you HR consultants, staff are expertise in this area, so they will guide you and support you. And they have the direct link to the university. They have a direct link to me as well, and everyone at the university. They can guide you, support you, and hopefully September intake will be available for the students in Pakistan. Thank you once again.
Hopefully, very positively. Thank you so much,
Perfect. Thank you
Nausheen.
so much.
Thanks a lot. And I would like to thank my audience too to be here with us during this interactive session and asking us questions. I hope the things we have discussed here will be beneficial for you, and it will help you to decide your next career move. And please join HR official Facebook page, and you may join us at Twitter and Insta too. And for admission, you may send your documents at our official WhatsApp number. I think my colleagues have also shared their official numbers, but you may send your documents to me directly at my official number. That is 0346 4747 023. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself. Stay safe. Stay home. Allah Hafiz.
Hafiz.